Welcome to another In Wheel Time podcast, a 30-minute mini version of the In Wheel Time car show that airs live every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central. From Christmas Car Headquarters in Texas, USA, it's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, we're going to talk to Sean Lucas, author of Driveway Modding Warrior. I like driveway mods.
Yep.
Remember those slot cars you used to have as a kid? Well, I had one.
I did too.
I was the only one because they were expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, Jeff's got a feature on slot cars and participating in league racing and all of the good stuff that we had. Jeff has a feature on them. And later we talk Christmas gifts for the enthusiast with John Rawson from Pro-Am Auto Accessories. Conrad has the car clinic, and as always, we look at the auto news headlines this week. Just ahead on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We always need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Thanks so much for joining us today. And speaking of joining us, we have joining us from merry old England, we have Mr. Sean Lucas. Sean, good morning to you, and thanks for joining us for you, it's not so early. It's a nice afternoon. Time for tea.
Good afternoon, guys. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here with you once again. And yes, it's always time for tea here.
Yeah, we were just talking off the air there a little bit ago. I think we had you on once before.
About a year.
About a year ago.
Yes.
What was the subject then?
So that chat this time last year was Driveway Detailing Warrior.
Driveway Detailing Warrior. So,
which was about detailing your ride, and this is obviously modding your ride.
Modding, yeah. So modifications to your ride and
in the driveway.
Yeah. So
DIY.
Yeah, exactly. So let's just get right into it. What kind of mods do you feel that we can do in the driveway that are easy to do, besides changing hubcaps?
All sorts, guys, all sorts of mods you can do in the drive. The book describes in detail my 10 favourite driveway mods, some of which involve lifting the car, some don't. So first thing to do is get yourself a basic toolkit, which most petrol heads would have anyway, but you would be surprised what you can achieve on the driveway and with really good quality too.
Well, I mean, there's so many modifications. I mean, I can think of a dozen of them. Even wheels. You can change your wheels right there in the driveway. Just take it up to the tire store, have the old tires dismounted, and then mounted to new wheels. That's a pretty easy one to do.
We know someone that's done that.
Yes, we do. Yours truly just did that last week, as a matter of fact.
I did my Yukon in the driveway when before sent it off to college with Austin, put a leveling kit on it, because typically the GM trucks are a little high in the back. So I just put new rear springs on it. It was actually kind of easy to do. I did it in the driveway.
Yeah.
Surprised myself.
You can change them, guys, of course, or you can refurbish them, change the color, change the finish, and you can do all of that yourself at home. Spray cans.
It's funny.
And you'd be surprised at what a great result you can achieve.
And it makes the car look completely different. I had a 1954 Chevrolet pickup truck. Yes, I did. A 3/4 ton with a shift-it-yourself kind of gearbox in it that had a granny first gear in it that was so low it was pretty much worthless, but whatever. And it was dumpy, and what I did was I got don't laugh, we didn't use spray cans back then. I should have, but I had a can, I think a quart can of gloss black paint, and so painted the wheels with a brush. And then the snap ring that was on those particular wheels, you know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
I painted that white. The tire was black. Made the whole truck look completely different.
Beauty rings. They call those beauty rings.
Well, they weren't beauty rings back then. They were actually part of the wheel. And they snapped onto the actual wheel itself because there was no way that you could get the tires on without beating them on, and so they had that.
So it was a split rim?
A split ring on it, yes. And
those are actually pretty dangerous.
They are. They're terribly dangerous.
That's why they have those cages in some of those tire places.
Exactly. Well, I didn't change that. All I did was paint it. Yeah, no, there was no way I was going to.
Brush painted your wheels?
Yes.
Wow.
Of course, remember, I was probably 13, 14 years old.
Oh, that's
they
fine.
they didn't have spray
They
cans
didn't have
yet.
aerosol cans out yet.
Yeah, they did, but I couldn't afford it, and I found a can of gloss black paint and painted it with a brush. Why not? It was a truck.
Yeah. 50 whatever.
Hey, if it made you happy, why not?
Absolutely, and it did.
So what is the most popular mod that you see, Sean?
that people can do in their drive.
Yeah.
It has to be the wheels. Yeah, I mean, you can absolutely transform your ride by refurbishing the wheels. You know how it goes, guys, with the problem with curbing and curb rash. It can really ruin the look of your ride. But with a bit of time and endeavour, you can really, really bring them up and make them look brand new. Change the colour, change the finish. It makes a hell of a difference.
Sure. And the way that spray can paints are now, if you're adept at that sort of thing, I think that you can have a pretty good result in the end. But you got to take your time and really know how to do it.
And now they have that little color ring you can put on your wheel that's to help for curb, so you don't scratch it on the curb.
Well, and also the shaker cans or the paint cans have evolved and developed better over the years. So it's not like used to be in the day where you get the globs coming out and didn't work all the time. So that's evolved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
definitely.
what's another popular mod? I guess some interior stuff too as well.
Racing stripe on the bonnet always adds 20 brake horsepower, guys, as you know.
On the bonnet.
Yeah.
On the bonnet, yes, exactly.
Painting your brake calipers can really lift the car as well.
Lots of people do that.
Yes.
That's easily done on the driveway. And then you've got the de-chroming. You probably noticed a lot of the modern cars have this rather unpleasant fake chrome. And a lot of modders like to make those matte black or satin black. And I think that, I think that looks nice. You can do that at home. Do you know what the most important mod that I think there is there, guys?
Tell me.
I think it's modifying your driving skill.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Chapter 9 in the book is Mod the Modder. Talks about the thrilling process of undertaking driver tuition on a track day. So where you go down to your local racetrack in your own car, you have tuition about how to drive rapidly but safely. And there's a whole chapter on that about how you prepare your car, how you get down to the racetrack and have driving tuition. It's absolutely thrilling. I'm sure some of you guys have done that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And what you learn on the track will 100% make you a faster, safer driver on the public roads as well.
No doubt, yeah. And,
get a coach to ride in the car with you, kind of tell you what you're doing right and wrong.
And that also makes
it's fantastic fun, guys.
Yeah, it makes a great Christmas gift, too. Buy a ticket for your friend to go down there, husband, wife, girlfriend, whatever, to go down to, for instance,
MSR.
Yep.
I think Richard's talked about that. They have the Mercedes dealership sponsors MSR, and they got a bunch of Mercedes that you can go out with a coach and
you can do it that way, or take your own car, like he's suggesting.
And they have a.
What petrol head wouldn't love a gift like that?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, what's next on the list?
Well, you've got what do we look at? We look at tinting your tail lights, making them a little darker. That modernises the look of the car very effectively.
Well, there's regulations for that. You can't always get them that dark.
No, we're talking subtle mods, guys. We're not talking black.
We're not talking about Don's black can of paint.
Well, there are there are covers for lights and headlights and things that people put on to make the aesthetics during the day, but you have to take them off at night.
There you go.
No, you can control how dark you go by how many coats of smoke you use.
Oh.
But I think that really modernises the back end.
Yeah, well, it certainly gives it a different look.
Yeah, and so there's loads of little projects you can do.
Well, here's another one.
Cold air intakes.
I had this done a couple years ago now. I had LEDs put on the Corvette.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and boy, did it improve things a lot. You can do that in the driveway yourself. Buy the kit and go for it. It's pretty easy, and the instructions are pretty easy as well.
Yeah.
Just take some time.
Cold air intakes are probably easy enough to do in the driveway.
Yep.
You did the Ripper shifter, or the Hurst shifter.
Yeah.
In the
pistol
driveway.
grip shifter. Yeah, I put the pistol grip in there. Jeff helped me, and actually Jeff did most of the work.
Yeah.
So at any rate, get a buddy with you and make a day of it and cook some hot dogs, and you're good to go.
Sounds great.
Or a pint of beer. For over there?
Pint of lager.
Lager, there you go.
That's right.
Yeah. Sounds great.
Well, and that's something, we've talked to different car clubs, and everybody kind of go over to one guy's house, and they'll help him mod his car as a car club, and, you get 5 or 6 guys, all of a sudden you can do a lot of things to a car in one afternoon.
Jason used to do that. His buddies, they would go to one house for one weekend, and then go to another house for another weekend, and that's how you got your stuff done.
Yep. Yeah, I did that.
Sorry, guys. It's important to remember, though, that subtle, tasteful mods can definitely increase the value of the car, but if you get it wrong, you can also diminish the value.
That's a good point.
Make it worse. So, you've got to read up on the book, and subtle is the way forward, I think.
Yeah. The first thing that comes to mind, here in Texas, trucks are huge.
And a gun rack in the back window.
Oh yeah,
that's subtle.
That's subtle. I wouldn't do that, but lift kits. Trailer hitches, rock rails with steps that bolt on.
Lighting upgrades, winches.
Yep.
All of that stuff is.
Forgot about that.
And
big brake kits. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. There's so many different things that you can do. Map it out over the year, and if you're going to go with a big expensive one, got plenty of time to save up. Hey, I'm going to get this done by next Christmas. And
invite everybody over to do it.
Right.
And that's one advantage of doing that is I get to go over to somebody else's house and learn how to do something on their car before I mess it up on my car.
Amen to that.
And the smart person's going to bring somebody over that knows what they're doing, and everybody gets educated on it. You hear about that with the Jeep people all the time.
The smart person invites somebody over with the beer.
That's right.
The beer and the tools.
Yeah, because it goes a lot quicker that way.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but the book focuses on projects that the average petrol head can do themselves, using day-to-day hand tools, a hydraulic trolley jack, a torque wrench. You can do most jobs with basic everyday tools.
And the other thing is too, you mentioned a torque wrench. They're a lot cheaper now than they used to be.
Yeah.
But if you don't even want to do that, you could probably rent one at your local Advance Auto Parts or the parts store.
Right.
The auto parts store usually has
Tools available.
Yeah.
Like a torque
Hey
wrench.
guys,
Yeah.
£25 these days, guys, for a decent torque wrench that you look after it. Will keep going for years.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, George Skelton, for supplying me
But
with
that's
one.
not foot pounds. That's regular pounds as in British money.
I was
Pounds
thinking the same
sterling.
thing.
There's that.
Newton meters or foot pounds, guys?
Nah, Newton
meters. Yeah, matter of fact, Cadillac has taken up the use of Newton meters
Instead of
for
torque.
years. Yeah.
Instead of
or cubic inches or
Yep.
liters or whatever. Yeah. So we got the Cadillac CTS 350.
Right.
But it's 350 Newton meters of torque.
Of
Yeah.
output.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all metric over here.
Yeah.
Yes, we know.
And it's totally confused everybody.
Yeah.
Totally confused
Yep.
everybody over here. Yeah.
Well, in
okay.
the book, I convert all my Newton meter measurements to foot pounds as well. So I've got your back, guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much. How long did it take you to write this book?
6 months.
And is this a lot of stuff that you've personally done?
I've done everything. Yeah, I've done all of the projects. I couldn't write about something that I hadn't done myself.
What kind of car did you do?
Photos along the way.
What kind of car did you do these mods on?
I did them on my Mark 7 VW Golf and on my 987 Porsche Cayman.
Oh, okay. Fun car.
Yeah, very fun
I have
car.
no idea what those are. I know the Golf, but I don't know the other one.
The Porsche?
The Cayman?
Oh, the Porsche.
Cayman's
Cayman Porsche. Okay.
Yeah.
level below the 911.
Two-seater. Yeah,
Yeah,
little roadster.
exactly.
Great fun.
So where do we find the
Drive.
book?
You will find the book on Amazon.
Yes.
On all the Amazon territories. Amazon USA, Amazon Canada, everywhere else.
Find it on our social media,
And
because
on-
I've already put a link
And on the
to
book selling page on Amazon, guys, you can use the look inside feature to browse the introduction and chapter 1, so you can try it before you buy it.
Little interview there,
What could be better?
There you
a
go.
preview of it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Sean, it's great talking to you, and we really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us about Driveway Modding Warrior by Sean Lucas.
Yeah.
Likewise.
So if
Been
you're
a pleasure,
looking,
guys.
for something for your automotive enthusiast, go out to Amazon and check his book out.
Yeah, exactly.
You still got time to get it.
And you can also go and get yourself a pint of beer. It's 2:00 in the afternoon
Lager.
over there.
Lager.
Well, he's in a Loggers.
Well, it's 8:16 here. We could do the same thing.
We could. Yeah,
I'm
we could.
gonna have one now.
Okay. Sean, great talking to you. Thanks so much.
It's been a pleasure.
Us too. All right. Sean Lucas, author of Driveway Modding Warrior. Hey, if you'd like to get in touch with us, shoot us an email. Our address here is info@inwheeltime.com. Or not. Racing, we made a mistake a couple of weeks ago.
No.
By saying, yeah, we did.
No.
By saying the racing season is over. Well, it's over for most of the professional, well-known series.
Yeah.
But not so much for,
Some of the smaller stuff.
like, the winged warriors that do the dirt track stuff.
Yep.
And so we have to kind of make a dividing line in which ones we're going to announce and talk about
Find
here.
a balance.
Yeah, and we typically don't talk about the local short track stuff, although there's fewer and fewer of them every year, it seems.
And there's a lot of turmoil going on with change of drivers, teams, and all that stuff. Formula One's got a lot of stuff
And
going
a
on.
lot of stuff going on in NASCAR,
Oh,
too.
yeah. Yep. So-
and in NHRA.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You see where Leah Pruitt has said, I think I'm going to stay back and have babies. And so her husband...
Tony's going to jump in a top fuel. I kind of saw that coming.
Yeah, but he was not the first choice to fill the seat.
No, he wasn't. Somebody else was, and they backed out.
Yep.
And Tony said,
Hold
I'll
my
do it.
beer, watch this.
Yeah, exactly. So there's that going on.
Well, as far as racing goes, the other thing is what's going on in IMSA. So Chevrolet, the GTLM series has ended. So the Chevrolet sponsorship of Corvette has ended in like the 24 hours of Daytona and stuff. Now there'll still be some Corvettes racing, but they're going to be privateer cars now, as opposed to the ever dominant Corvette racing.
Well, you know what I
Sponsorships.
found interesting with all of that is the fact that it looks like General Motors is putting a lot of effort, or a lot more effort, into the Cadillac stuff racing.
Yep.
Yeah.
They got my letter.
Finally.
Yeah. And so, actually, I'm kind of excited about that.
Well, I'm excited to see if they finally get it all put together to go F1 racing, which looks like they will if they can get all the whiny babies to
Well,
quit
let me
complaining.
ask you something.
Toto Wolff.
Let me just throw this out there. The Chevrolet Camaro production ended this week.
Yep.
Done. Okay, so now what are we going to use
Again.
NASCAR,
for NASCAR? How about a Cadillac?
CT5.
I don't know. What do you think?
I don't think they'll get Cadillac in. I don't know if Cadillac may have run some cars back in the 50s
not in
and
NASCAR.
60s.
Probably not. And once they got off the beach, I think that was pretty much over with because Cadillac got that big, floaty, big thing going down the road. Well, Cadillac is, taking a different street these days.
Chrome horn up front with the Dagmars.
With the Dagmars on it. That's exactly
I could see it. You got the Toyota Camry, you've got the Ford Mustang, and you got an Escalade.
Yeah,
an Escalade
for the truck
That'd be
series. Anyway, no, I don't think it'll be Cadillac. I don't think that's not their market. It still comes down to money. They could get out and play in the F1 and the road course.
So what are they going to do? They're going to hang on to the Camaro for next year?
Yeah, I think they get a couple of 3 years of grace of body styles for the future. You got to think it happens to Erica and her Camaro in NASCAR, in NHRA as well. What are they going to do? I truly believe that they have been building that Ford program with the Quadras all along to let Erica move into a Ford.
Interesting. All right. Time now for our feature this hour.
Speaking of racing,
Jeff has a feature on slot cars. Remember slot cars? I do.
Yep. Well, and this is because it's wintertime. What do you do in the winter? Some people go skiing. Not everybody can afford that. Bowling is another one, an indoor sport. And people at home did this, and they did it
ice fishing?
Ice fishing, yeah. Let's go ice fishing. Long before the popularity of racing cars, racing video games, the slot car craze in the 60s and 70s had young people and their parents obsessed with racing scale models. In the 60s, home versions of the slot car racing tracks were available, but that wasn't the only place to race. You could find places all over the U.S. where you could go racing. If you had a car, you could do that. You could set up a track at home. But in the 60s, there were about 2,700 places across the country you could do this. Large slot car tracks built to accommodate racers in hobby shops, and places build themselves as little mini raceways. You had to pay to go in. There was an hourly fee, much like you guys know that. Have a slot car. You could also rent one. It's basically like a bowling alley, which Don just said. You've got different controllers. You got pistol grips. You got manually regulated finger grips and things. The newer grips have push button and thumbs and all that good stuff. While the physical activity required to drive a slot car was limited, racing scale models went from 0 speeds to 100 miles an hour per scale in a split second, and that was required. Like real racing, you go fast as you possibly can. You full speed down the straightaway, slow down in the turn. Can you make the turn? Can you get through the turn? Can you get the drift without flying off the track? That was a big problem. In 1963, the U.S. Championship slot car racing was live on TV. Where was it, Mike? It was on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. That's how popular it was.
How funny. I didn't know that.
No.
However, the popularity of racing cars decelerated quickly. It slowed down in the 70s with the advent of all the electronic toys, personal computers, video games, and it really slowed down. But along comes COVID, and people wanted to bring something back. Parents thought, what did they do when they stayed home? Well, when they were young, so they introduced the kids to slot car racing. The physical experience of slot car racing is different than racing on a video game. It's a communal experience. Rather than sitting in front of a TV screen playing alone, this is having a group of friends playing racing games with the family. The new generation of Carrera tracks, which is actually called Carrera Revel Americas, who owns the big operation of these tracks, to include updated scale models for the racing enthusiasts and tailored for little home kits and things. I had one. Don had one. There are 1, 2, 3, 4. There's like 6 different scales, HO all the way up to 1/18th scale. With 1/18th, they're like 10 inches to 12-inch cars. Now, how much do we do this? Well, back in the day, don't know how much it is right now, but back in the day, $8 would get you track time for an hour. If you didn't have a car, you could spend $12 and they'll let you rent a car and you still have the same track time. Now, if you wanted to go competitive racing, $7.50 for an hour, and you get 30 minutes of open practice, 8 heats, which last about 3 to 5 minutes. So, not only that, in slot car racing, but you have dragsters as well.
And the cars were extremely customizable,
I got it.
A lot of the cars would come as a clear body, and you'd paint it yourself.
Yeah, and you painted
the inside.
Well,
they had that nice shiny finish when you got finished.
And then all the different modifications you could do as far as motor and tires and gearing and stuff.
The brushes, little motors, how they're wired. The more wiring, the faster you go. And as you saw in some of the pictures there, 2, 4, 6, or 8 lane tracks. 2 were the home, 4 were more of a commercial, and then you get up to 8, sometimes 10. Depending on how it was.
There was a slot car track up in the Cypress area for a number of years. I think it has since closed.
I think there were 2. There was one actually down in Sugarland, but it was a small little hobby shop.
Yeah. And I'm sure the hobby shop, that's why they had the tracks, was because they were the ones selling the product.
Right, it was a revenue stream as well as getting people in there. I mean, some guys would show up with like little tackle boxes, and they'd have their cars all in their deals, and they'd have tires, and it wasn't
a little tackle box. They brought the big tackle box.
Yeah. That was the guys that had enough money to put some serious money.
Looked like Mars' stuff over here.
Exactly. Our remote.
I showed up with my car in my shirt pocket, and that was about it.
My car was, I guess, about that big. I don't know what size
you
that
had the
was.
big ones.
Well, I'll tell you.
I only had one.
The HO were 2.5 inches to 3 inches long.
That's the size of a matchbox.
The 1.43 scale was 4.3 inches long, right around 4 inches long. The 1/32 scale was 5 inches to 6 inches. And then the 124 was 7 inches to 8 inches. And then the 1/18 scale was the 10 to 12 inches.
Yeah.
The bigger you went on this, like the 1/32 up to the 1/18, those things would fly.
They would.
To a point of being dangerous.
Bigger tracks and more room for the track because they were wider.
Exactly.
And truly, the aerodynamics of the body style you chose had an impact on the performance of the car.
That's right.
I don't think they were putting them in wind tunnels.
Scale. Well, but they were. A lot of those bodies were designed after
real cars,
current race cars and stuff. So those aerodynamic tendencies were brought to those.
And some of them were bodied over the wheels and tires. Others weren't. They were open wheel.
No, there's a bunch of information out there on this on the internet. So check it out. Go do it.
Thank you, Jeffrey. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for In Wheel Time Car Talk. We also video stream on Facebook, YouTube at InWheelTime.com. Podcasts at your fingertips and over a dozen of the most popular podcast outlets. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break.
You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The original group of Loopy Tortilla restaurants will have you telling your family and friends just what the original recipes mean when it comes to the best fajitas in Southeast Texas. Founder Stan Holt invites you to visit the original Loopy Tortilla near I-10 and Highway 6. Here's the original house that inspired the design of all the rest and the original charm that helped make Loopy Tortilla the go-to destination for Houston Tex-Mex. Speaking of original, nothing can compete with the original lime pepper marinade that everyone will agree makes Loopy Tortilla award-winning beef fajitas the best anywhere. Loopy Tortilla Katy is another location that gives you the same quality and service Houstonians have come to expect at Loopy's. It's located just off I-10 and the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard in Katy. Find yourself in Aggie Land? Head to the Loopy Tortilla in College Station, located just around the corner from Kyle Field. It's a great place to enjoy those famous frozen margaritas before or after the game. Headed east to Louisiana, stop in at the Loopy Tortilla in Beaumont. It too's on I-10. You can't miss it. The original group of Loopy Tortilla restaurants invites you in for the best Tex-Mex anywhere. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is now part of the iHeart family. Now you'll have access to 24/7 Car Talk anytime you need a fix. Just download the iHeart Radio app and ask for In Wheel Time Car Talk, and there we are. Be sure to save us in your iHeart library for instant access. No matter where you are, you have the best Car Talk Show right on your PC, laptop, or mobile device and never have to worry about finding us again. Of course, you can always get access to our video and audio streams via InWheelTime.com and your favorite podcast channel, and all of this is free to you. From the iHeartRadio app, you'll not only hear our Saturday morning live show, but the best shows of the past, updated weekly. Never miss a minute of up-to-date new car reviews, pre-owned reviews, Conrad's Car Clinic, informative interviews, automotive news, and the most fun car talk show on the planet. Just download the iHeartRadio app, search for In Wheel Time Car Talk, save it to your library, and with a tap of the icon, you'll be in touch with your favorite Car Talk team. In Wheel Time Car Talk, streaming now on iHeart.com/In Wheel Time Car Talk. That's it for this podcast episode of the In Wheel Time Car Show. I'm Don Armstrong, inviting you to join us for our live show every Saturday morning, 8 to 11 a.m. Central on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and our InWheelTime.com website. Podcasts are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeart Podcast, Podcast Addict, TuneIn, Pandora, and Amazon Music. Keep listening, and we'll see you soon.